Welcome to the stream. Be working on the unmodded, mostly unmodded, city of Vanillaville. Today, this is the third stream work that we'll be doing on it, third episode. And this is what we've got done so far. And this is a list of things that we hope to do. Primarily would like to push our campus to 4 or 5 stars. And a couple of things I think we need to do that. And it'll be attached to getting this new suburban area done, improving connectivity through roads and public transportation from the older side of the city, newer side, and the campus itself, even though the campus is kind of centrally located. I would like to try and push us to 36,000. We are currently at 25,000 citizens. I think 36,000 will be important for the campus, and it's a good milestone for a number of other things that I'd like to work on. I think it's when we get our new trash management, which would be fantastic. Or we might have it now. I don't remember. Regarding the metro lines sinking due to 81 tiles, I actually confirmed already. I did a test build, played it offline for a little bit to check and see, and yeah, my metro lines are sinking due to 81 tiles mod. I've replaced that with another mod that makes all 25 tiles purchasable, so we'll see if that works better, because obviously we don't want our metro sinking down into the center of the earth while trying to do that. Hopefully we'll have time to get to the new public works and general industrial area, the green space, and verifying city services are up to date will be something that we kind of do as we go along. I don't know that the stream will go long enough to touch those stretch goals at the bottom, but we can certainly talk about it as we get moving. So, back to the game itself, and there's a couple of things that I want to do while it's top of mind. I think as the city grows and as we continue to get busy, this is going to be a choke point still. We've seen it back up before in prior stream, and it's only going to get worse as the population grows. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and delete those 2 roads. It's going to get rid of some of these factories, but it'll give a longer road for vehicles to get off there. Before we get into this, let's take a look at city services. Looks like we're fine on most everything except for childcare and elder care. We really don't have anything anywhere over this way or here. We got one of each over here. That's not sufficient. We'll have to look for a spot over here, I think, to fit some in. And then I have a good idea of where I want to increase connectivity and suburbs, so we'll probably put it there as well. Garbage processing is currently fine. We do actually have the waste processing complex, which is what I was thinking about, so I definitely want to get that worked in. There is something that unlocks at 36,000. Excited for. I can't remember what it is, so we're not going to worry about it. But regardless, where I want to focus on and concentrate on right now is going to be this area. I think this makes the most sense to get some more connections going, as well as start working on the new housing area, because what we're struggling with right now here at the college, not attractiveness, academic works, but that'll come along. It's students, and part of the reason why we're struggling with students is because we just don't have a high population comparatively. We can make it look a little bit more attractive by adding student healthcare and lunch. I think we've got a good enough budget to do that right now. So we'll do that and see how much that helps. But I think that's kind of what we're looking. We got the college, take a lot of space. I don't think we're going to end up needing all that space, but right now, leave that alone. I would, like I said, I want to focus in this area. And where I want to pull off is kind of right here on this bend. Pull it straight out a ways like this. Here and pull this out of ways, and there's where the guideline is. Stop at this guideline. And let's extend this one out a little further, maybe. And then we'll make a connection there. Then I'm gonna want to pull B from here in 3 different spots. I want to come out 10. No, I don't. Come out 11. Maximize density, and also allow a walking path, pedestrian access down the center there, as much as we can. Now, some of the city services might come in there, break that up. We'll deal with it there. I don't want to have all these roads come through, but I do want to have these 3, and we'll pull them out until we start to get I think there's probably a good one that will connect with this one. Flat out and back this up a little bit. That. Same thing generally here. About 10. Go out 5. Connect it up again. A little bit longer. But again, same basic connections. Then I kind of want to mirror down here we've done at the original and can't quite do it the way this is set up. That's more important to me than that turn. So that, pull that back, and then make our connection. Now from there, again, we want to be able to maximize how many houses and whatnot we can get in here. It's great to see, actually, that that's some growth that we saw in the academic year rather than shrinkage. We'll see if that continues. Would like to make sure that we keep plenty of density back here. So I'm of 2 minds. We can either do this on the sec, getting dark, and I keep it nice and bright. The actual build. I think coming here gives a little too much space, but allows for pedestrian paths. Let's see what this looks like. I don't think I want this connection, but I don't know that I mind how this is extended out necessarily. The problem that we run into is now it's sort of a situation where we're not really going to maximize that right there. That's okay. Come out, let me cul-de-sac this up. And we'll want to have this, this is right down the middle, we'll come there. Connection like that. It's down that one. And again, don't have to bring it all the way down. But cul-de-sac it off. know if I quite like this road network. Let's start over. This is something that I think would be pre-planned, so I don't think it is all that weird to call a mulligan on that, and we started over our purposes since we're playing a game, and we're kind of doing it on the fly. I think coming out here is the correct. Let up 5. Back a little bit. Of guidelines. Listening. There's 5, 6, 9. Turn this back on so we can catch it. That's a little bit smoother than it was. Alright. Pick this one. Maximize density. We want to make sure we're doing the same, so that's a little bit too far. I wasn't paying attention at all to the length. Okay, because we can do it this way. And we don't want this to be wasted space either. So we'll sacrifice a little bit of density here. Slightly uneven, and it's going to bother me, so I'm going to fix that. That's what, 6 over there. It'll be 7. We need it right there. Alright. There. Now those are both. This here is kind of a dead space in terms of density, but we don't necessarily need that. Go back to kind of our original plan, and I think we'll just stack this here. I think it would make sense to here too. And then we're not going to quite mirror over here because it's a smaller area. So can't really mirror it even. But again, I think I want to keep one line there or one space there so we can build paths as need be. Turn off the guidelines. Through that up a little bit, make it slightly interesting network, that and that. So now fairly interesting look to it, I think. Now we can begin to kind of build this out. A couple more spots, so let's go ahead and connect this through like that. We got multiple connection points. You can see it's already being utilized, which is good. Make sure the junctions are set up correctly. I don't think that warrants a traffic light at this. This. He can come in here. I'm just going to park suburbs. Now, we're faced with an interesting decision to make here. If we want this to be supported, I don't really know how many educated jobs it has, because it doesn't work the same as industry. I think we can assume that it wouldn't be a super high number because it's industrial work, but at the same time, if we look at our education, we're struggling with it. We need some education out here, so I think it would make sense that we'd still want our education be built up over here, and that it would make the area more desirable for, you know, employees who maybe need to work in a support role or operate the more difficult machinery. So I think we're going to put one there. Let's turn on our terrain. This is a little bit tougher to build, on, so we're not going to worry about there. I think one elementary school out here is sufficient. I think it makes sense to have a high school. And we'll put it here. Parks inside it. Nope. And we're going to need to do something right too, because like that blank space. There we go. Back off. Obviously, we'll need to get power and water underneath here before we zone it. Small playground near the elementary school. I don't want to do it. I want to put something else. Honestly, let's do one more dog park, but I think this should really honestly be sufficient for what we need. Put one more there. That should be enough parks. Water. Water is something we'll probably need to look at sooner than later. If you look there, we're producing enough and treating it well, but it's getting close. You have two huge. For some reason, I thought. This should cover it, but just to be safe. I'm too much of a perfectionist for my own good, but if it doesn't line up, even though it's something that we're not going to see very often, if it doesn't line up good enough, it bothered me no end knowing it's like that. Alright, so we got parks, we got schools. We still need some more things out here. Emergency services are good. We're going to build a large fire department and police department. I think in an industrial area. That makes sense to me, at least. Getting a hospital out here would probably be a good idea too. Let's see what if the general hospital fits. It does. I mean, it fits nicely kind of on the end here. I think it would make sense to have a full hospital too instead of stay small facility because, I mean, again, industrial use area. Fancier. Death service is actually going pedestrian path purposes. Forget about it, actually. Another thing that they would really want is vacuum spot. Post office. Don't have a post office out here. And then the question becomes, we want elder care. And I really don't think that we do. I think we do need some, but I don't think there's a good place to put it here that isn't going to take away from housing and other use more of. So, let's get some housing. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. Make it look a little bit in suburbia. See how that looks. Start here. Pathways down what we would. This. Do as well. Hoped it would. I don't think I wanted to anyway. Actually, I think I want to regular paths back here, not the tree line paths. I'll upgrade those. Cool. So this is starting to fill in. We'll come back to it. We can put some commercial down as well. And another thing we might want. I don't think it's a might want. We do want a metro connection. All I'm thinking of, let's get station down. Don't accidentally zone. And we'll make this our commercial area up here. Now we'll just, and now we'll fill it all the way. We don't really have a residential demand rate. No real point in continuing to zone it. We do have an industrial demand. Actually, that is some. We'll do it here. I mentioned earlier, like port, for the lumber industry, like offices and whatnot. Then completely forgot that I wanted to put. We'll put them there, and on the end, still attached, out of the way. We can also think about getting some offices over in this area. I think it's important because it will help with sound. And there's another use that I'd like to as well, although I don't think we're going to work on that yet. I think what we want to do instead, actually, take a look at our electricity. It is borderline. So that brings us to our next issue, and that is city services and new waste facility / industrial area. What I'm trying to do right now, kind of keep the city on this side of the highway. I don't really know what I want to do out here yet, if anything, and I think we still have room to develop in this area. It's not as smooth or awesome as I would like it to be, but I think this would make the most sense of all the areas to try to do the campus. So I'm going to do a lot of terraforming for it. You don't want it all to be flat. I think something that probably would happen with this type of project, maybe not. I'm not a city planner. I want actual accurate representations. Aptly named city planner plays, I'm sure you've heard of, who can actually tell you how wrong I am. But if this did happen this way, I would also assume that they would probably have some sort of agreement with this area down here. If they're going to have this work here, they're probably going to have a heavy forested border or other type of block, so you're not constantly staring at waste management. It's probably not an ideal spot in terms of how nice it's going to look for the rest of the city, but I think for our purposes, for playing the game, makes sense. Also, I missed a path here. Now I'm looking here again. Put it in while it's at top of mind. Slip that right down. Cool. Alright. This up here, I don't want to have too many connections. I think this should probably serve what we're trying to do here. I think the connections that I want to make, as I accidentally tab out of my, I think the connections we want to make are here. Bring that all the way down to, and then obviously, perhaps not obviously, here. So we can have continue a collector road. While that's thinking about, let's head down a little bit. We want to go here. Start here. Up. Got it. Sure. Road. Fine to me. Same type of deal over here. I think this is the regular road. Most of the way up. Makes more sense as, you know, industrial road. But same basic. Down here. Right. Out. Actually think I'm out. We make sure we're not getting into the highway. I probably pulled that too far out. We're gonna kind of have that little. It's gonna be an awkward transition for now. Upgrade slash fix the road. So I think I want to extend this out a little bit more. This needs to be flattened back out because we're a football stadium. So we can continue to do kind of what I'm trying to do. Once we get that, that's what I think unlocks here soon. Oh, it is 36, so that's really our next big goal. I just want to make sure that we have enough room up here to get done what we need to get done. Worry about some landscaping and fixing it. I think, though, this should be enough room, at the very least, to start with. Pull this out. Road guideline is actually very helpful. All the way through. Now you have a nice big area to work with. See, this is even being utilized. Upgrade this here. This is all flat now. We don't really need to worry about what's down here right now. You get rid of those trees necessarily because we soften this out. Whoops. Button, but just steep and not sheer cliff. And we'll continue to fix this as make it look. Right now, though, I'm more concerned with getting this. So I don't want to have too much connectivity from here to the main roads. I don't want to create too much additional traffic. I think starting here, where it's easy, I keep doing that, at the top of that ramp area is a great idea, and we can even give ourselves a little bit more area by doing this. Just kind of making it a little unnatural, but you know, that's landscaping later. So we can make this internal connection across. And let's look and see how big this is. Pretty big. But we gave ourselves enough room. Don't want to put it right there. Or actually, let's see what it looks like. Not terrible, but not your best view first coming into the city if you're taking this exit to get over there. I don't think this would be a well-loved. Not going to look great no matter where we put it, but let's get it away from the road and put it there instead. Needs it. Help if I could. Got this. Now this won't do anything without more things. Let's go ahead and in just a moment. Okay, so this needs to be supported by waste transfer facility, which will go out and pick up the garbage, and then this processing complex will go out and pick up the garbage from the transfer facilities. You can build these right next to the processing center, but I think it makes more sense to put it near where it's going to be needed. You see it's got a much smaller radius of pollution and whatnot as well, so putting it here, you know, it's not pleasant to look at necessarily, but we can fix that with landscaping. We can hide it with by putting in offices and what are they called? Commercial. So we can take care of that. That's not going to be an issue. Right now, though, I'm more concerned fighting my road guidelines, apparently. And rather than fight this, I'm going to just, you know, admit defeat with it and move this over one. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to admit I got outsmarted by a game. This will serve kind of this area. And come over here. These will be able to be removed, which will be nice. But I think that we should still put in a transfer facility to serve this section of the city. Does not fit there. Doesn't fit there. Won't fit there. Probably will fit there if we get rid of these. Well, let's do that. Not going to need them here in a minute anyway. They've been decommissioned and destroyed. That right there. They were. See if we can make a road through. No. Alright, we can do a path instead. Self-leveling path. Path in the... Turn these back off. Fantastic. Terrible. Can't really do much else about it, so that's fine. We have this here. We have anything else over this way? I think we do. We have a recycling center there. We can't really replace it directly. The waste transfer facility is slightly bigger. Can't put it there because I believe that's our bakery and something else for farming. Can put it there, but we're destroying a bunch of things. But you know, I think it makes more sense to destroy some factories than it does to move all our farming. We're going to go ahead and get rid of those. All these behind. Sorry, I started building. And then one more spot. Now let's turn this back on since it's done emptying the cemetery, which is slightly more thing to think about. But let's come back over here. We have another recycling center, which I think is fine. I don't think this needs to necessarily change. But we do want to at least have waste processing supported too. And that looks terrible. Try to fix it a little bit by making it worse. Cool. Let's actually, what I'm trying to get, bring this down here to self-level instead. It still doesn't look great, but it will make it easier to landscape right behind that and cover it up. That way you don't see it. This type of quick detailing I don't mind doing, because otherwise that will bug me how terrible. Trees are great. And then just to make sure ground does not show through. Put some taller vegetation underneath. Plus your hiding will be terrible looking thing anyway, right? So that is done. Now we've got garbage coverage a little bit better. We've got recycling here and recycling there. And I think that's fine. We got an industrial area. We've got it in an area that's already mostly commercial around it. We'll have to watch this part of the residential to see if they start complaining because of this. But I think that's fine. We have a need for residential starting to build up, so we'll go ahead and do that. Write down this area. Maybe make this park stop complaining. I think what we're going to do too is it might make a little bit of sense to have some high density out this way. Take a look at that though as it grows. Back to here. So this should be operating just fine now. It's got 10 trucks out. Fantastic. This area is not actually served by a processing facility right now though. Or transfer facility. Because we built everywhere but over here. So make some obvious sense. Rectify that. Like, not what I'm getting. Like for this to I like it to fit nicely whenever I can manage it. And then, you know, maybe cycling center or just support out here. I think it's better to have more than less when it comes to garbage processing. Next thing we need to worry about, the whole reason why we came out here and wanted to start building this aside from garbage, power. We're hurting a little bit for power. This isn't going to fit here. We can do it there. I think geothermal is... We'll put 2 of those down. Maybe one of the stipulations to not complaining too much that this is being built out here is having geothermal plants. Something that's not going to cause even more. Then, I went out 1 too. Get it? We can come out. And we'll be able to mirror those when we want to. I think we're making more than enough power, but let's remember not to build anything. So, I think we can worry about our wastewater and whatnot out this way too. I don't think we necessarily need to build anything yet, but we can have that out here certainly. We can also put some industry out here if we want to, though I don't think we really need to right now. We don't have a huge demand for it. I think pulling this through and connecting it up over here makes a little bit of sense though. More connectivity is better than less, in my opinion. Another thing, if we want to add a little bit to this as well, I don't think I've used the asset yet. I made a parking lot. And did I accidentally? I did. And by accidentally, I mean this is wide enough, so parking to support the processing. So we've got 2 of our goals done. This is started over here, and it still needs more housing, so we'll get some more zoned over there. And this over here started, which is fantastic. Doing well on those 2 things. So trying to think of where we want to go next. I think it would make some sense. I thought about this. I think where we want the green space is right here, kind of in sort of the off center-ish of our current city. I think it would look really good there. And if we want to put a story to it, maybe Park Wood Production wants to give back to the city by planting a forest or something. So it doesn't need to be an actual park. It can just be like, we don't need to make it a Park Life Park from the DLC. We can just go ahead and make a forest. It's not the most necessarily thrilling content to watch, but I think it'll look really nice when it's done. So what I am going to do is I don't really like these vanilla trees, so I'm going to do something that is completely unnecessary and entirely unrealistic, and we're going to delete it all. And I hope I've turned the stream volume down enough that this is not absolutely destroying everybody's ears like it is mine. And in case you don't know, you can just hold down the left click button when you're deleting, just like you can with upgrading roads and quite a few other things, and it will delete things of similar, if it's the same thing. I turned the volume down a little bit more in the stream because it looked like it was still spiking up a little bit, and not the most pleasant sound to listen to. Okay. All gone. All gone. So let's go ahead. Go a little bit more residential. Thinking. We could have been a little less overzealous, I think, in zoning this, and thought about it a little bit more and given yards to people and whatnot, but that's a problem for past me and now living with future me. So it is something that makes sense to take into consideration when you're doing a project like this, though, I think. It's going to get, let it fill in at its own pace, so I don't have to actually check up and think about it. let that area fill in. We've still got this section right here to worry about, but we'll worry about that later. We got this now, and I think it's worthwhile to get some pathways down first to kind of see where it's going. And it's not. I'm not going to make it catch to that one. Interesting. Then that guideline for some. Okay. Well, I'm not going to necessarily do anything. Oh, damn it! I forgot to change the name of my stream. Thanks, Brad. Thank you for noticing. I'm gonna update that now. Someday I will get a whole hang of this silly streaming theme and remember to update names, streams. Someday. Today's not that day. I lost my train of thought. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of make some random paths through here and kind of have it connect where it makes some sense to that meaning at roads that would want to connect back to this. And I'm gonna actually upgrade these to paved roads. Now I'm thinking about it. Because there is something I wanted to do. Not necessarily something I need to go fix until it's all built out. Okay. Missed one. Trying to connect where all the paths connect and where it might make sense based on the roadway network. I'm probably overdoing the connectivity now, but okay. Get this all upgraded to actual paved roads, paved paths. I like the dirt path on the other side, and I'm going to leave that. But right here, I want to get across road. We can connect all of this over here with a pedestrian action. Drag this out. Lost some students, still renowned. Got our academics work. We'll get back to that soon. Out like this, I think. Have this. That way down. Actually, we'll start. Out the road guidelines. 12. Bring this across, and let's see if we have. Still do not have a power connection by making it jump is what I say. Sorry, got distracted. My dogs were going crazy in the background. We'll bring that all the way down there. We can sever this. Now, it's all still technically connected here. But if we get a thunderstorm game for some reason, it won't be anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in some redundancy. Like this. And then back to this. Now we can continue this. Cross the road. Drop it down. And now we'll connect this. Turn our guidelines and grid back on, connect that. And now our college campus is connected. All the way over here. Almost. I lied a little bit on accident. Now it's connected. All the way over there. Then, one more minor connection to make. I think it makes sense to bring this over the road here. Now you're connected up to pretty much everything. You can get to this road by coming down here and going across. So, it's an unmodded build, Brad. I can't really put in a military surplus store. But if I can find one, bet that I will put one into the modded build when I get back into that. Now for the very exciting, and honestly I might do it off screen. I'll come back to it. We're going to make this woods. We're going to turn this into a wooded area. See what I did wrong and why this looks weird? Doesn't need to be a connection there. Does need to be a connection down here. Actually, no, I don't think there does. I think this is fine. Looks a little funny, but unique paths. Go back to this. Take a look at our public transportation right now. Make sure we're still going well. Still fine. Perfect. The reason I want to do that is because I'm about to connect up Metro up here. And I don't think I'm going to worry about necessarily connecting this with Bull State. I'm just going to worry about path from one station to the other. Let me see if I can connect that up. You know, that's actually pretty damn close. I'm gonna make it. There we go. What I'm gonna do, kind of sharp turn, but I think it'll be fine. We'll watch it. Is we're going to go ahead and create a new line, bring it just out here, and bring it back. And that's all we're gonna worry about for that line for now. Go ahead, not change the wrong name. All this Parkwood. That's kind of where it originates right now. I'm here. Got one vehicle. Currently no passengers. Currently nobody in queue. We'll see if that changes. The thing I want to do while I'm thinking about it, I don't think it's going to fill out yet. We don't have any demand for it. But I do think finishing this section of the grid Makes sense. And we should just get it done and over with. That way we can say we have and go. Add a little bit of activity. No, you know what? We'll leave that as empty space there. That'll be fine. Leave the trees on these because I will forget otherwise. As you can see, I forgot the last stream to update this. And I think we're want because of this trash use, so we'll turn some more commercial there. Residential. And that is actually building. Nope, I'm sorry. That's a commercial building out. Ignore me. Well, don't ignore me because you're on my stream and you should probably listen. But only at 28,000. We're not growing super fast. So not feeling fantastic about hitting our population goal for the evening. That's okay. Let's get some more public transportation. As you can see, we kind of have a big dead zone right here, kind of into here. Whether it's not serviced. The tram doesn't go up in there, subway doesn't go there, or the metro doesn't go. So it would make sense to get this type of use in. The question is, where do we want to put the bus depot? I don't want to put it in the middle of your residential area. I don't know that it makes a ton of sense to put it in your logging area. But I also don't know if we'd want to put it over in our pure industrial area. I think those are better areas than residential, of course. Ideally, we could fit this over maybe here in the public works and disaster recovery, but we can there. Or we could kind of fit it over here with these other somewhat similar uses. But ultimately, I think it would make more sense. We had to pick one of these awkward spots. I think making use spare room that we have there doesn't make a lot of sense either, to be honest with you. I'm just going to go ahead and put this somewhere. I think ultimately putting it over here in the public works and making the argument that buses are somehow part of it, sure, why not? I suspended my disbelief for less. Alright, oop, I made it worse. Trying to fix this, and I've made it all sorts of worse. But I have a little bit that up. Good enough. Good enough. Make that even worse, and I have already accidentally. Okay, so I think what makes some sense, making a line. We want a line that's going to go into the neighborhoods to funnel traffic. Really? Power's not going to jump right there. Really? You gonna do this to me, game? Okay. We want something that's gonna kind of like run from this commercial section, maybe down this main corridor, commercial corridor, and then back. Just a simple loop there. And then one, okay, this was apparently destroyed, our dog park. And then one, maybe two circulating bus routes in through these residential areas to get them to this public transportation and this public transportation. And then you can connect to any of the other ones from there. The metro, the tram will take you to the metro, bus will take you to the metro will take you to the tram, those types of things. From here to here to here isn't the best movement, but that's why they're going to have the buses. So let's do that. And I think this is going to, building all this up is going to help the college. And you have more people able to move around. Start there. Come down, end of the. I think we make one additional stop in residential. Then I think next stop is going to this corridor. Every 4 blocks or so. Then we can make one block, or one stop, excuse me, in industrial. We can make the loop a little better here. And then this will deploy back up, mirroring the route. And that'll be our first bus route. Then we can do a short little route down here. I think most people who would want to take this type of route or want to take the tram would just walk to the tram from here. But we'll see what type of usage it is. Quick little one, probably won't need any buses on it. And then a slightly lengthier one up here, getting away from the main street. 4-ish, because there's not really anywhere up here that we'd want to stop that's touristy. Obviously the park was right here. Would have stopped there, but that's not the case here. This is just kind of moving traffic around. It's near 3 tram stops, near bus stop. Gives you plenty of chances to transfer modes of transportation. Is gonna do the same basic thing over here. A little funkier just because of the layout, the grid layout we did. That's actually up to. I want to kind of mirror it best I can. There. I think this is probably close enough to those so we don't need to worry about it. So let's open this up. Bus line 1. What's this? Main Street. Barlow Boulevard. Call it Barlow. It's line 2. Trying to move my map around. Typing a name doesn't work. Bus line 2 is down here. We'll call that the Pearl Park. And we have 2 of them. We need to differentiate. This one is clockwise, it looks like, if I don't have them backwards. Counterclockwise. Change the color of these 2. Bus line 4 is leave these 2 here. And that's still Empire Park. Ooh. We having water issues? Sort of. You count not having pipes as an issue, which I suppose it is. Really? Park. Not good at naming these. This and it's counterclockwise. Change the colors. So. Okay. I think that's good enough for now. Let's take a look at our metro. Take a look at this. Yeah. Yeah, we might need some more, might need a bigger train. Go ahead and do the high capacity metro. Hop this up to 3 times speed and let's just run for a minute. See if this self corrects in a couple minutes. I had a feeling this would be a popular route. I just didn't think it was going to be quite that popular. Look, it'll clear it out. So I think having 1 train is perfectly acceptable there. Come back over here. Since we've been running at 3 times speed, we have 12 buses on this route. Let's see how we're doing for stops. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to need 12 buses when I'm going to do what I'm about to do, but we're going to do this for the main ones. And again, I'm going to 3 times speed this. Take a look at this one. That one's fine. Totally fine. Not quite as fine. Now we can do one of 2 things. We can up the vehicles, or we can just do a slightly larger bus. And I think doing a slightly larger bus is probably more what I would like. Bendy bus 70. Yes, let's do that. Same basic thing here. Let's see if just a bendy bus will work. This one's absolutely fine. That one's absolutely fine. In fact, we might even be able to knock that down to 2 buses instead of 3, but we'll let it run for a few minutes. Okay, so where we're at. We still need residential, but not a lot of it. We still need industry or offices. Totally drew a blank what it was. A little bit tired. So let's continue to build this out. I think everything that we've zoned is built. For this little section that we apparently actually did not zone. So let's do this. I want some high density. And I want to fix these paths before I do anything. I don't want that to loop. So the other thing I'm thinking before I do this, though, 2 things. I don't know if there's a lot of truck traffic going through this area, but I don't want a lot of truck traffic going through this area. So I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen. To do that, I need to, first off, question why I drew this as big as I did, because I don't need to. I want to go ahead and messily do this, even though that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is not necessarily knock this back too far. I want to make sure that I have the roads not impacted by a policy. I'm trying to make sure. Okay. I'm going to do two things. First off, the undercity planning, I still don't want high rises necessarily to build. The other thing I don't want is I don't want heavy traffic to be rolling through the neighborhood. Turn that off. This over here does not need to have. It's going to be a green space. It doesn't be zoned. Skip to the wrong one. That again. This means that we shouldn't see any heavy traffic coming through here. Now back to the housing issue. There's zoning in here. I think those 4 areas of high density is appropriate for the area. I think it would make sense. We're gonna roll with it. Check on water again. We're pushing it. Let's go ahead and for water. I said I wanted the campus to have its own water supply at some point. I still don't think there's necessarily a good area for a water tower though. Maybe we could do it in the middle of the city, but look at the noise pollution it causes. I think it would be a neat feature. I don't think it would be very good. You could do it in the middle of the park, but then you have a electricity problem getting it there. That'd be ugly. So we're just gonna stick with what works and put down another water pump. Last thing we're gonna do, will we be able to fit one more? We can. Until we run out of space, we need to use this space. That should be enough now. Once that comes online. There we go. Now this is high pollution, and I think at some point we can start to decommission this. In fact, I meant to decommission these earlier and get rid of them, so we don't have those ugly smokestacks in the middle of the city. Check garbage processing now that I've done that, just to make sure we're still good. Perfectly fine. Something that I haven't put in, and need to put in, is pumping service and our tank reservoirs. So we've got this fancy district up here. Get our 2 pumping services. I don't know if we need to, but they fit perfectly. That actually is just a happy accident. I'm not going to complain when it works. Makes me sad that I can't just drag this straight across. That we can always here. This. Now I know I said I was going to leave this for geothermal. Actually, I still can do that. I don't have to go backward. I don't have to go back on my work. I thought they'd ahead. Some of these down. 3 is more than enough. the event of a disaster. Now connected to each other, but not to the actual water grid. Fine, because I want to get the sort of guide how I'm going to have another connection there. No, I think having a connection to this one is mildly more. There. Okay, so now we got water issues taken care of. All right, so what do we need? We still need to consider industry. We need to check on this and see if it's helped at all. Students are doing still behind. That's okay. We're working towards. I think this is. I actually really like how these assets look. I think it's come out nicely. I think this is another spot to detail. I think there's gonna needs to happen one day. Maybe just an episode where I come in detail, rather than build new stuff. Graphical. This roundabout still needs it. I think it would make sense to have a buffer from your city of forest along here, kind of like we were doing here, but do it way down. Campus needs it. Obviously, this whole thing here, I might just do that off stream though, or off stream though, so that way you don't have to sit and watch me do that all day. And then, yeah, the suburbs here, they got their own trees, but I mean, you've got space back here that you could add in some more. Get rid of these. I just do not like how they look in this. Deleted themselves. That's nice. So what do we want to work on? We wait for this to, fill out. This is actually, it looks like all filled, except for one house that needs help there, and it needs to be. I don't know why this guy is having crime problems. Got a police headquarters right there, and they're only using 6 of 37. I mean, what type of issues are we here really? All right, let's look at the industry. So one thing I considered is kind of a sporting complex, right? Once we get it, we're going to put a football stadium in here, which unlocks in 7,000 more population. So, and I think makes some sense, is we can draw district here. And name it the stadium district. And actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut it here. Stadium district. L district. I'm going to do leisure. Make this tourism. This will turn into hotels. I don't know if it matters having high-rise ban on areas. We're definitely going to be doing dense commercial. And the hotels get really big, and I don't know if it makes a difference. This is going to be the area that kind of, whoops, something. So that I don't accidentally. Oh, okay, all right. Look at this. I never far enough over. That's gonna redo some of these there because of high rise. So the nightlife district is going to do is first off we're gonna yet again fix this. And split this right in half with offices. Box some of this down. That'll help with this too. And then high density. And I think it makes sense to do that through this district as well. And then lastly, let's let this grow out for to see what we still need after, because we might end up needing more residential. Which begs the question, where are you going to put it? Well, knowing that we're someday going to come through here and probably build a big old forest along the way, is we can build along highway. I don't know if we want to build that close. It kind of comes out the farthest. That. Can't really get out to the 15. And there. Won't be the most desirable houses ever known to man. But they'll get the job done. Our purposes are. And we can eventually. Yeah, this is going to have to split funny because I don't have the space to really do what I'm trying to do. Extend that out. We'll turn road guidelines on to catch it. Belts. So stubborn. Just have to catch it in the middle like that. Now this section is Young Lindens, so that updated. Make sure it's all upgraded, except for that middle road that I upgraded on accident. And there, that's going to be Live Oaks. Apparently it wasn't ready. Water. I remember that the college campus is supposed to be Live Oaks. I picked something else for this. Meantime, I'm gonna fix this first. I'm gonna go back down to what we were doing. I got sidetracked. That's all done. Now down here, nope, I lied. One more spot that I need to fix. These are horse chestnuts, and then down here we have the young lindens on all the. And I picked pine. I can't read. Got the correct ones picked now. For real. There we go. Take a look at our parks before we build too much else. Looks like we have a pretty good array of parks. Might need one down here, so I think we just go ahead and put a dog park on the end. I'm comfortable doing that there because we're going to be pulling that down like that. Makes sense, given that we've already started that. We still don't have the highest demand in the world for residential, but I think we build it and get prepared for when we need, or when we have the need. Go ahead and put here because loud uses, kind of probably not something you want to put too much housing around, and zone this. Let's keep with the theme of offices there. We'll let that fill in. And see, now there's a smallest bit of residential demand. So this will fill itself out. Break 30,000 here, hopefully. Check on death care. Got decent coverage. And from over here, which I don't really know, I really need it in the industrial zones. But I imagine it's better to have it than not to. Freed up some land usage over here, so we'll go ahead and put one somewhere so we can see there. Really not any spots to put this. That works. Right in between the what are these? Milking parlor? Nope, cattle sheds. Why doesn't it smell any better? Okay. So honestly, I think for now it's just kind of a waiting game. I don't think that we're going to push to 36,000 just from this, which is a shame. I wanted to finish that before I started building up and zoning in through here. But I think we're going to have to be prepared to do that. I think we can go ahead and do office use here because of this trash use and fill that. Take a look at traffic. Traffic seems fine. This might back up a little bit going ahead or going forward just because the way that's going to be moving into here as that builds out. This is all still part of the college campus, so you don't really want to build this up too much. So the question now becomes where else can we really go for our next residential? We could come across here, and I made mention earlier, I really don't want to do that yet. But we could come across here and start building this up. I think eventually, since we will be able to play 25 tiles at some point, you know, we'll be able to build this out, have a park down on the beach, maybe that kind of thing. But I'm not so sure that I really want to do that yet. We can probably preemptively come out here and actually get this started if we want to. Because I think we have enough minerals in our current boundaries. You see we lost renown, or not renown, attractiveness there, and students. I think we have enough minerals start on this industry, but I have an idea for what I want to do out here. You see the grain lines. I have a specific idea that I want to work on. So I don't know if I really want to start that just yet, especially because I want this all the way through. But that doesn't mean we can't maybe get some housing figured out, or neighborhood figured out. But again, then you're kind of far away from the city, so you're running into those types of issues. You technically come across the river and expand out into this area. I think that would make some sense. I really would like to use this is a large flat area. I think this would make sense for our airport. So I don't know how much I really want to get over here and build up. Not flat down here, obviously, but this is all relatively flat. Won't need too much terraforming. Now this in here is L, and it's all the way flat over here, so that would be fine. We're eventually going to have both of these tiles. So even if we didn't go past 9 tiles, we would have it. The rail going through it, not necessarily an issue. It might actually be beneficial because then you can get your cargo trains and everything in there easily. So I think that might actually be a way to go, is across the river instead of across the highway. That said, for now, we can just sort of concentrate on this. I'm going to leave these as tree-lined streets because not technically going to be part of the college campus. Because I don't think we're going to need it. I think we're only going to need out to about here. I think it would make sense that it's still close enough to the campus that they would kind of want it to look nice. So I think we'll leave that. I think we want to be careful about how close we get to this. Again, this is up. And I think we're going to put some nice trees along here. And maybe we can work on detailing that a little bit while we wait for this to fill out. But I don't think so right now. So 15. Turn the guidelines on. 15 is what? 10. 15 is right here. 900. Correct? I believe it is. Yeah. I'm going to have a slightly odd block size. Just because I carried this all the way through. Which I think makes sense. And back to the block size we've been having. I'm going to stop it there. Actually, we're going to stop it even sooner than that. Just to make sure we have enough room here for the football stadium. And because we want to put that football stadium down too, actually not going to zone any housing in this area just yet. That's actually part of what makes this a little bit tricky. Zone and build up. Because of how loud these are. Then you have your hotels and whatnot there. And your trash there, but I think I'm mostly worried the trash for now. And I think because of the education split right now, where we have 53% highly educated, I'm comfortable putting offices there as borders. And then I think coming out this far with our housing grid is not logical. Was the situation we're about to run into. I think that is far enough for housing right now. And as you can see, I mean, there's still housing over here that hasn't developed. So we're certainly kind of stuck until this all builds out. We can extend it a little bit this way if we want to. A little bit of room. Same kind of over here. But there's not a ton of room. This is college campus still. Might make sense to have a little suburb section there, but you also want to kind of have some open areas to let your city breathe. I think right now, let's double check our transit while I'm thinking about it. If this has cleared itself out, it is still not cleared itself out completely. Wild. Mostly okay, but let's drop this down to 10 and see if that does it. That one's still perfectly fine. That can probably be dropped down to 2 and be fine. Yeah. 2 might be overkill. This one's fine and can be dropped down to 2 as well, I think. Same with this one. This one is actually pretty much perfect out of the gate, which is a good feeling. This one, not quite as popular. But I think going down to 2 might be... I think going down to 2 will double check on. See if this one is still fine. It should be. I can't imagine it wouldn't be. It is. The more I look at this, the more I do think that it might make sense to come over here. We can always do... I kind of want to make a unique feature out of this. Earthquake scar. I think maybe we'll do that. I think we will take... this and we'll extend it out, and I think try to go along maybe this thicker contour line here. Freeform tool. Bring this way out right into the middle of our ore. This one would come straight through. Just want to see if I can at least kind of get where it's not giving me is essentially line up that, but I don't think we're going to want to go to that one because it's not going to make a good 90-degree intersection. So I think this one makes sense. So whoops, click this and we'll bring this down a bit. I apparently cannot get an actual 90-degree angle off of it. mean, that's good enough. Bring the highway over. Although I might end up having to give a little bit more. I think we'll leave this road as it is. Leave this stream where it is. And we'll pick it up. I would like to try and do Vanillaville every Wednesday. I haven't forgotten about the modded build. I think I named Samuel's. I'd like to try and do that every Saturday. So I think I'll play around with this one and see what we can do. I will probably do this green area here off screen just because there's so many trees and it is not exciting work to do on stream. But some of the then again at the same time, if we do just a detailing episode when people know what to expect, I don't think that's too big of a deal. So we'll go ahead and leave it here. I appreciate those of you who dropped by. I'll get this up on the YouTube channel hopefully tomorrow, certainly by Friday. Missed any of it, you can check me out on YouTube. It's Captain Samo. Leave 32 off. And you can check out Vanillaville episode 1 and 2 as well. And thanks again for dropping by. Have a great rest of your night.